We will not allow Los Angeles to be used as a transshipment point. We will work with all of our partners in law enforcement, no matter where they are in the world, to ensure that those individuals that ship these dangerous narcotics through the Los Angeles region are identified, they're investigated, and that they're effectively brought to justice and prosecuted, utilizing the full force and effect of the law. Our task force that was dedicated to this mission over the last few months, has dedicated innumerable hours of surveillance, of investigation, of computer work, of investigation in the cyberspace, and investigations that were also digital in nature to identify and track the narcotics, the individuals, their movements, and their eventual laundering of these funds all the way across cyberspace. Not known to a lot of individuals, our Los Angeles police officers become deputized and they assist our federal partners throughout the world in their investigations, bringing important information, intelligence, and enforcement back to the city of Los Angeles to share with our partners so that we can form a strong network, an identifiable source of information that is vetted, that allows us to be very efficient in how we conduct these investigations. Only through the hard work of our gang and narcotics division can we establish those links, work within our task forces, and work with our other regional partners here in the Los Angeles metropolitan region to make sure that we are deterring that activity here, we are addressing that activity here, and that we're taking effective action with our federal partners to make sure that that activity is not attracted here to the city of Los Angeles. I want to speak briefly about another aspect of this operation, and that is the violence. As everyone here is well aware, Los Angeles has certainly seen its share of violence in terms of the narcotics trade, because we're such a large metropolitan area and because of where we're located. I want to recognize that there have been a lot of violent acts that are traced directly back to the Wedding organization. And it is only through the hard work of our partnership that we're able to identify and assist these other organizations in tracking those individuals, bringing them to justice, and sharing that information to make sure that we've identified the individuals that are involved in the violence as well. The violence is one of the byproducts that is an unfortunate aspect of these drug trafficking organizations, and the Los Angeles Police Department remains committed as well to preventing that violence from occurring not only in the Los Angeles region, but linked to this organization throughout North America. So we've worked very effectively and we've worked very closely with our partners on preventing the violence and identifying those perpetrators involved in the violence. And that is a very important aspect that we also address here in Los Angeles as well. In closing, again, I want to close where I opened. I want to thank our federal partners, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and all of our regional partners, including our partners to the north in Canada. Working as a team, we want to show that not just in Los Angeles, not just in Canada, and not just throughout the United States, but we want to show that we're going to be effective partners here in North America and throughout the world whenever you're bringing these harmful substances, as you see here, into the city of Los Angeles, into the United States, and into Canada. With that being said, I'd like to introduce Deputy Commissioner Marty Kearns of the Ontario Provincial Police, who will provide additional information regarding the efforts by our partners to the north.
Thanks, Deputy Chief. Good morning, everybody. On behalf of Commissioner Thomas Creek, I would first like to thank our colleagues here in the room for the opportunity to attend and speak at this important announcement. This includes the U.S. Attorney's Office, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Drug Enforcement Agency, and the Los Angeles Police Department. This complex investigation spans multiple jurisdictions and agencies with an alleged retaliation over stolen drugs that tragically impacted family in Ontario, Canada. For the Ontario Provincial Police Criminal Investigation Branch, under the direction of Detective Inspector Brian McCurdy, who is here with me today, this investigation began on November 20th, 2023, when officers from our Caledon detachment responded to a shooting. Upon arrival, our officers discovered three family members, a man and two women, who had sustained multiple gunshot wounds. The father, Jagtar Singh, age 57, was discovered deceased, while the mother, Harbhajan, age 55, and daughter, Jaspreet, age 28, were seriously injured and were transported to a nearby hospital. Tragically, Harbhajan did not survive, and Jaspreet remained in the hospital for an extended period of time, being treated for multiple injuries. I want to stress that the Sidhu family were completely innocent. Our investigation has determined that these three victims were mistakenly targeted and were not involved in the alleged trafficking organization. This devastating incident claimed 2 lives and left a young woman with life-altering injuries. A joint investigation between the Ontario Provincial Police and the Peel Regional Police, named Project Midnight, was formed once connections were made between the double homicide and attempt homicide in Caledon and 3 additional shootings and a homicide in Peel Region. Project Midnight investigation determined that the shootings in Ontario Provincial Police jurisdiction and the shootings in the Peel Regional Police jurisdiction were deliberately targeted. Deputy Chief Miletovich with the Peel Regional Police will provide details on their occurrences shortly. Today's announcement reflects the tireless months of work by agencies in both Canada and the United States. I am immensely grateful and proud of the exceptional coordination among all involved services. It is truly a testament to how collaboration and investigative diligence across multiple borders has successfully identified those responsible for these horrific crimes. It has also helped to bring crucial answers to the victims and to their families. While our job is far from complete, as you've heard, Project Midnight investigation remains ongoing as investigators continue to seek those responsible for the shootings in Ontario. We encourage anyone with any information related to the shooting in Caledon to contact the OPP at 1-888-310-1122. You can also report anonymously to Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477 or online at ontariocrimestoppers.ca. We remain steadfast in our commitment to justice on behalf of all the victims. Thank you. I'll turn the podium over now to Deputy Chief Miletovich.
Morning. I am pleased to join you on behalf of the Peel Regional Police Service. For the interest of everybody here, Peel Region is a large and diverse community of 1.6 million residents located just west of Toronto. Our police service is the 3rd largest municipal police service in Canada, and we are deeply committed to public and community safety. I would of course like to start by thanking our Canadian and U.S. law enforcement partners, including the U.S. Department of Justice, FBI, LAPD, and the DEA for their ongoing collaboration and work on a highly complex and dynamic investigation, the results of which you see here today. One of the charges announced today pertains to a homicide that took place in Peel on May 18th, 2024, Mohammed Zafar. He was a 39-year-old man who was fatally shot in his driveway. Additionally, another charge laid today, as you've just heard, involves a double homicide in Caledon, in a nearby community to our region. We are jointly investigating and continue to investigate those offenses with our partners from the Ontario Provincial Police due to the connections of those acts of violence and their connection to Peel. These tragic cases reflect the violence tied to transnational and organized crime and the trafficking of illicit drugs and the firearms that are used to effect that business. In Peel, we continue to experience the effects of those types of crimes. And if you can imagine how far Peel is from Los Angeles, where we're announcing these results today, we experience the results and the benefits of enforcement initiatives like you see here today. The link between drugs, guns, and violence continues to put innocent people and innocent lives at risk, and we continue to see the impacts on our community. Alongside our American counterparts, our police service, with our partners from Canada, are fully committed to addressing this issue. The reality is, to effectively combat transnational organized crime, it is increasingly crucial that we partner with one another without regard to our jurisdictional or national boundaries. And the reason why I say that is because that is the type of activity that we are increasingly experiencing from organized crime. They have no consideration to jurisdiction, no consideration to national boundaries, and they will take every opportunity to exploit any vulnerability that they find for profit. And this investigation is a great demonstration of an organization that was attempting to do that, but through the collaboration we have here today, has been addressed. And we will continue to support any and all efforts from our partners locally in Canada or here in the US in order to affect that purpose and fight that crime. Again, our police service is proud to stand here with our partners and take part in this announcement and celebrate really their victory, because it will have a direct impact for our community in Peel Region. Again, thank you. Appreciate your time. And I'll pass the podium back.
Thank you. I'll give brief remarks in Spanish, and then we'll take Q&A. Do we have any Spanish language reporters here? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Buenos días, Inmores Martín Estrada, soy fiscal federal. Hoy anunciamos cargos criminales contra 16 miembros de un grupo de crimen organizado. Este grupo fue responsable por transportar grandes cantidades de cocaína desde Colombia a México y de México a los Estados Unidos y Canadá. Este grupo fue responsable por transportar casi 60 toneladas de cocaína cada año. Esas son cantidades muy grandes. Este grupo fue una fuente grande para cocaína a Canadá y los Estados Unidos. Este grupo tuvo como su líder un individuo que se llamó Ryan Wedding. Ryan Wedding antes fue un atleta olímpico para Canadá, pero en vez de usar sus privilegios como atleta olímpico para ayudar a su pueblo, él hizo lo opuesto. Él se convirtió en un narcotraficante prolífico y también se convirtió en una persona que mataba a toda la gente que él vio como obstáculos contra su organización. Este grupo fue muy violento y cometió asesinatos en América Latina y en Canadá. Nosotros, las autoridades federales, estatales, internacionales, estamos dedicados a combatir el crimen organizado en todas sus formas. Gracias. Any Q&A?
La recompensa para el prófugo Ryan Wedding.
Sí, $50,000 del FBI.
Sir. ¿Esta organización de Colombia tiene algún nexo con los carteles de la droga mexicanos, cartel de Sinaloa o el cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación?
Este grupo de Ryan Wedding tenía conexiones con el cartel de Sinaloa y estaban protegidos por el cartel de Sinaloa en todas sus actividades.
Can you say that in English, please?
So the question was about any cartel connections. This organization was connected to cartels, specifically the Sinaloa cartel, which offered them protection in Mexico to carry out their operations. I will note, as I mentioned earlier, Wedding and Clark, the two leaders of this organization, were based in Mexico and directing the whole organization from there.
Mr. Watkins, it's at large. Where do you think that he is? Mexico, Colombia, or somewhere else?
El señor Wedding no está en custodia y estamos buscando.
Did you say that in English?
Ryan Wedding, as we mentioned, is a fugitive, and we are seeking his capture. The FBI is offering a reward of $50,000 for his.
And do you believe he's in Colombia, Mexico?
Colombia.
I can't comment on where we may think he is. He was in Mexico. He's now a fugitive, and there's now a reward on his head. And we are going to locate him and find him wherever we can. Any other questions?
¿De qué forma ingresaban las drogas a los Estados Unidos y a Canadá?
Pues usaron camiones para traerlo de México a los Estados Unidos y de los Estados Unidos hasta el este de este país y también a Canadá. The question was how they transported it. I mentioned they used long-haul semi-trucks to transport it both from Mexico to here and also transported from here to other parts of the country and to Canada.
Sir, how can it be possible that if they were transporting all the cocaine in semi-trucks by the border? How is possible?
So as we see with drug traffickers, they use very sophisticated means to disguise the cocaine and keep it hidden from authorities. This group clearly was able to do that. As you know, thousands, hundreds of thousands of kilograms, pounds of drugs are seized every month, every year at the border. But some of that drugs gets through and gets to other places.
What can you tell us about the inspection at the south of the border?
I can't comment on the inspection of the border.
How and where was this all first discovered from this group?
So this group, Ryan Wedding in particular, was certainly on our radar. We wanted to make sure that he was captured and held fully accountable for his activities. As you can see from the indictment and what we described, he used various lieutenants. He contracted out the killings he did, so he tried to insulate himself from a lot of this criminal activity. So it took a great deal of investigative effort to actually trace all of these acts to him personally.
These drugs that we see here today, were they all from one bust, or is this multiple areas that you?
So during the course of the investigation, to build the case and make it as strong as possible, agents and officers made multiple seizures. I mentioned 3 seizures just in this year, and the drugs you see here represent just those seizures. As I mentioned, this group is responsible for moving much more cocaine into the country. This just represents a few seizures that we were able to do in this case in order to stop them.
And is that all locally here in LA?
This is all in California, the Los Angeles area. They had stacked locations throughout the Los Angeles area, including in the Inland Empire.
How much in total did you confiscate from this wedding gang?
How much did we seize? So I don't have the exact amounts with me, but I mentioned 2,000 pounds earlier, 400 pounds. So definitely over a ton of cocaine and thousands of pounds.
And throughout this gang's, however long they've been operating, how much do you think that they've actually gotten in and were able to distribute?
We estimate that they were distributing approximately 60 tons of cocaine every year and moving that to the United States and to Canada.
So what was the most difficult part to dismantle this organization, especially if they were working in 3 different countries?
As you referenced, this was a very sophisticated operation. They were operating out of Colombia, Mexico, the United States, Canada, 4 different countries, as well as others. And in order to trace all the criminal activity, all the violent crime to them, it took a great deal of investigation. That is why I really want to thank and send appreciation to the agencies and officers. Thousands of hours of surveillance, thousands of hours of looking through documents, cryptocurrency wallets to discover the full extent of the criminal activity.
Does Wedding or do any of the suspects have prior criminal histories?
So they do. Wedding has a prior criminal conviction, a federal criminal conviction. Upon his release, we believe he went back to drug trafficking and in fact built this prolific and ruthless organization. Any other questions?
How many people have been arrested and where they come from? Are they from USA or from other countries?
So there's 16 defendants in this case. 12 are in custody. 4 remain fugitives. The individuals are from various countries. Approximately 10 are Canadians. Others come from the United States, Mexico, and other countries. Any other questions?
Martín, ¿cuántas víctimas de este grupo?
Pues yo mencioné 5 víctimas, porque tenemos la familia y la hija que fue disparada y fue un intento de asesinato. Por lo menos 5, pero hay muchos más, no solo en Canadá, pero también en América. Thank you very much.